Am I in here? Somebody let me know if I'm in here and if you can hear me. Hello? I am not doing a StreamYard because um, I don't have that all hooked up again. I mean, I got rid of that. And back when, okay, you hear me. Donna's very narrow ear canals. Hi, Crash. Hi, guys. Yeah, I'm doing this on YouTube Live. So I don't think I can bring comments up to the stage or anything like that because I tried to, set it up with StreamYard today and I don't know, it just wouldn't set up and it needs like 24 to 48 hour probationary period or something. And anyway, so I'm just doing it this way. Hi, Betty Ann. Hi, Alaska. Is there anyone else? Hi, K9 Catherine, that would like to moderate? First of all, let me know if you would like to be a moderator for this. And then I'm going to give, Kevin Hornbuckle. I want to thank you for your nice, I saw your comment over on Fancy's thing. Thank you for that. Yeah, I don't know how my lighting is or anything. And my thing is teetering a little bit because it's on the armrest. This is just such a cobbled together situation here. Hi, Carolyn Wilson. So, okay, Top Cat, you're a moderator. I think we probably have enough now. Hang on a second. I'm going to just jump to somebody else. Top Cat, you are. I'm just going to give like a little heads up to the moderators and kind of a little bit of ground rules. My poor puppies. And I put him in the crate so that he's been out and roaming all day just so we could have this little time together. Hi, Genevieve Fernandez. Thank you for being proud of me. So sorry if you hear him in the background. He's just a little too unpredictable to have this amount of time to focus. So it's a rainy day here in Pennsylvania. Beautiful rainy day. We had a tornado warning earlier. I'll just do a little chit chat before as people are getting in here. 42 people now. He hears me talking in the other room and he's doing his thing. But anyway, we'll try not to be too distracted by that. So I just want to give a little PSA about something that some of you might remember how obsessed my husband and I are with the show Succession. And some of you might be too. I know he left it in, actually he left it in all afternoon since I took my shower, which is shocking that he did that. I was distracting him with other things to play with and he didn't go for my ponytail. I'll see if he whines too much, I'll just let him out and roll the dice with it. So anyway, any other Succession obsessors in here? My husband and I just finished our 6th viewing of the whole series. We already started over into 7. So we are obsessed with that show Succession. Well, guess what I found out today? At the same time, both Kieran Culkin and Sarah Snook are on Broadway and we're going. And it's around our 10-year anniversary. So I have already tickets for Kieran Culkin is going to be in Glengarry Glen Ross, which is a David Mamet. It was a movie and I think a play before that with some other like heavy hitters, Michael McKean and Bob Odenkirk are in that. So we're going to see them. And then found out today that Sarah Snook is in The Portrait of Dorian Gray. And it's the next day. So we're gonna have our Succession weekend for our anniversary. I know, isn't that cool, Crash? So anybody else, it's snowing there. Anybody else that is into Succession, they're like all showing up on Broadway right now, which is great. Sarah Snook is playing every single character in this play. I got front row seats. So anyway, and I found a website in case you don't know. Hi, Bets Alexander, that you can go to this website. I can't remember the name of it. And people will put in there literally a picture of the view from their seat. So it has the seating chart and all you do is click on that seat. They don't have all of them, but they try to fill them up and you can literally see what the view is of the stage, which is super cool. So I did that in selecting our seats. So a little bit nervous. It's been a long time. Got my ginger ale. I'll see if he settles down in there. Sometimes he just settles down. He's hearing my voice in here. That's why I haven't really been much speaking. So one of the reasons I'm doing this tonight is that my husband is up at our other house, and he would not be a fan. I'll just say that he's been really glad that I've stepped away from YouTube. And so I thought, well, I got one more night because I was supposed to go up yesterday. We extended it a day. Anyways, it was my last night of solo. I thought I gotta do it tonight because once I get up there with him, I'm not gonna take away from time with him. So that's why I wanted to come on tonight. So some this is to the mods and some kind of ground rules for tonight. I'm sure many of you watched my video. It's getting like gone pretty freaking viral for me, for my little tiny channel here. And so it's gotten a lot of activity and viewing and everything. And the subject is closed of that. So it's normal and natural to want to process that and talk about that. And people have written me emails and I welcome that if you have anything further to say about that. But in terms of this channel, we're not going there anymore. I'm pretty sure we're all pretty sick of it. Raise your hand. I mean, it's an old tired subject and we should all be tired of it. So I know I am. So we're moving on. This is our pivoting moment right now. Yeah, this narrow ear canal's got you want me to release the dog? All right. I will, DB. I mean, I've given it a whirl. He usually calms down pretty quickly in there. And this is his first time he's been spoiled because he's been out all day, the last couple days with me, and he's been doing good. But pause, talk amongst yourselves. But we're going to keep topics on anything but that subject. And if you notice, I do have some words filtered on this site. So if you notice that a comment that you make doesn't show up, it's probably because it's got a filtered word on it. Just so it's not that you're blocked or anything like that. It's just that I am having some sort of boundaries around certain topics. So DB, I'll be right back. Pray for me with this dog. It's a crapshoot with him. We've been to the dog park twice. We've been this weekend. We've had like some kind of wild times, but hang on. I'll be back. We're gonna try. Okay, Beasley. Okay. Okay, Woodward. Come on, boy. Good boy. Okay. All right. Here we go. He gets into these. I call it the frenzy. I'm going to give you too much information on my dog now. Here comes Beasley. Here he is. Here he is. He gets into what I call the frenzy, where he's just like nipping and grabbing like this at me. And, he gets a little crazy. It's a very specific constellation of behaviors. And he's like kind of out of his mind. He's in an altered state. Yeah, he'll come for the hair tie probably. And no, he's interested. Anything that touches my skin, he's interested in. Like he's interested in the glasses. The remedy for that is he's got to hump my leg. And I let him do it. I did a lot of reading about this. I'm sorry if anybody disagrees with this, but it calms him down. See, he's starting with the biting. It calms him down when I let him do that. I got to get him a bone. Hang on, guys. I do let him hump my leg because he immediately, it's like Ambien for this dog. And, I don't know exactly what's happening with him, but hang on, let me get him a bone. Hang on, boo-boo. Here's your bone. Here's your bone. Here's your bone. Here's your bone. Come on. Come on, there you go. Come here. Come here. Come on. Nope, you're not going to bite me. No. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Or also sometimes just holding him really tight helps, but we'll give it a whirl. Here's your bone. Good boy. Oh, good boy. Okay. Oh, you kept replaying it. Yeah, we went to another dog park yesterday. We're on this exploration. And I decided on my drive with him tomorrow, because he does get motion sickness in the car, I'm going to look for a dog park. It's about a 2.5 hour drive. I'm out of breath. between our homes. I'm going to find a dog park in between and take a break there. And because I really like when he can run free and off the leash, and he really needs that. So the first one I went to was better because it was totally fenced. And so I just let him go and he just really explored. Yesterday, it was not fenced, but they could go off leash. But, that made me a little nervous. But he got a little socialization with two other dogs. And, you talk to owner. I mean, this is a whole nother world to me. And, I met the owners and they were large, but they were also puppies. And, so, they're like, that's part of the reason you come to the dog park is the socialization. So he got that, he's a very social dog. So yeah, here's Mr. Beasley. He's going to join us tonight. We'll see how well it goes. Hi, Brenda Hall. Good to see you too. So anyway, moderators, trolling out. One strike policy out. If people come in here and they start bringing up certain topics that we're not going to talk about, they may not know that that's prohibitive. So just give them a heads up that we're not going to do that. You don't need to bounce them because people are going to probably show up and not realize that. So, I just made that video on that topic and I can see where people might have questions and stuff like that. Feel free to email me if you have any issues or questions or whatever about that, but we're going to keep this channel clean, right? And we're going to keep it cool because the cool cats are in the house again. So we're going to keep it that way. And that's the way we're going to roll. I said I was going to make one thing about it. I made one thing. Sorry we got the percussion section here. Look at this. His teeth are unbelievably white. I don't get it. My husband brushes his teeth with coconut oil every night. I don't know if it's that. He has incredibly white teeth for a dog, I think. I don't know. So thank you, DB. You released the dog. So he's happy. I'm sure he felt left out and he wanted to join the party. Okay, Malou, you want to, I'll make you a mod, my love. Here we go. Oh, okay. I'm adding you. Doesn't mean you have to utilize it, but you're on. That's enough mods. So yeah, we're going to keep this safe, comfortable for ourselves, as always. So that's the way it's going to be. I've had my comments off for obvious reasons. The social media has not been a safe place for me for a number of months. So I will make sure that this is a safe place for me and everybody else. That's simple. Hi, Jenny Moody. You love being blue. That's great. So we're going to start with something. I'm going to tell you a brief story. Then we're going to do a little exercise together that stems off that story. And then we're going to move into the big story for tonight, which is, I've told both of these stories before, so just indulge me if you've heard them before, but they're good to hear again. They're good for me to tell again. And it's a great Sunday night story, a feel-good situation. So, and here we've got our rhythm section down here. So the first story has to do with, probably happened in about 1996, 7. I had moved into this condo right after my first divorce. I've only had one divorce, but I divorced from my first husband, which was basically a speed bump of a marriage. And I moved into this place. I had a break-in the middle of the night there. While I was in the place, I had like total PTSD for 6 months. I couldn't sleep because, I woke up with a man in my bedroom. Anyway, so that's a whole, I'm not going to go into all that. But anyway, so I needed to move out and I decided to move out and gave my notice and everything like that. And suddenly my very nice landlord became a very not nice landlord when I gave him my notice. And I think it was just, he was pissed because he was losing a good tenant and was going to have to deal with fixing it up for somebody new. And I don't know, he just became very not nice, like overnight with me. He was a really big guy. He had these like big shoulders and like big back, and he just was imposing kind of person. And he was getting really aggressive with me about things like, I came in there one time and you had a air filter in there that was not the proper size for the air filter, and I'm going to have to get a whole new air conditioning unit and charge you for it. I mean, crazy stuff like that. And the air conditioning worked fine. And anyway, he just was getting very much like a bully with me. And at the end, he was scaring me. And he said he was going to come and do this walkthrough and like just letting me know if anything, it's going to, don't expect to get a deposit back. And he was going to charge me an extra month's rent. Anyway, I was intimidated. I'll just say I was intimidated by this guy. And so it just so happened, timing wise, that I went to this workshop with this wonderful, wonderful woman who helped me so much in my life, Linda Hooper. And she did these like little workshops out of her home. And this one happened to be a workshop on like the chakras, the energy centers in the body. But somehow this came up that I was anticipating because my landlord was coming the next day to do this walkthrough. And he'd already let me know that, he was looking for this and that. And, he was just like going to be on this hunt to find damages. And this place was a piece of crap. It was so bad. This place was, because I was just looking for the cheapest place I could find, really. And I had invited a friend of mine, an older lady friend of mine, to come with me. Well, she offered to kind of be my backup during this walkthrough, just to have another set of eyes and ears there. And she goes like, I'm bringing a camera. This is for the day of cell phones, and just like a legit camera. She goes, I'm going to take a picture of everything he points out, and just, I'm going to be your backup during this. So that's like how scared I was. And so I'm talking about it because it's going to be the next day at this workshop. And so she sort of pivots and does this exercise with me to deal with this. She goes, this might be a good time to do this particular visualization. And wasn't really exactly pertinent to what we were doing, but it was in the same, theme, I guess, in a way. And led us through this visualization. She said, now, Kathy, you have between now and tomorrow about 24 hours to keep working with this visualization I'm sorry, grinding on this yak bone. Landlord horror story. To keep working with this visualization so that by the time he shows up tomorrow, this will already be activated in the dynamic between you and him. And this is the visualization I'm going to lead you guys through, and you'll see why when we do it. So she led the whole group through this, and then she encouraged me to keep working with it, like throughout the evening and the next morning, which I did. I was, clinging to this thing, to the visualization for dear life, because I was nervous about this walkthrough. And sorry, I've got this laptop is just teetering on my arm of my chaise here. So my friend Judy shows up. She's got her camera. She's like loaded for bear. We're ready for this like confrontation with this guy. This man walks into the space like a freaking teddy bear. Judy's looking at me like, why the hell am I here? He was like, oh, it looks great. You've taken such good care of the place, like a completely different person than I had been dealing with for like, I don't know, about a month since I gave my notice. And at the end of it, he gives me this big hug, wishing me the best and all this stuff. Judy, at the end of it, we're just standing there in the living room looking at each other like, what the hell happened? Honestly, it sold me on this visualization. Because that is the only X factor in this entire thing, is that I did this deliberately for like that period of 24 hours. I taught Lillian this when she was having trouble sleeping, my stepdaughter, probably when she was about 5 or 6. She did this every night in her bed. I didn't even know this. Her mom was telling us that, like she does her bubble, before she goes to bed every night for years, because I taught her this thing. And most recently, when I've been going through a certain degree of stressors in the last few months, it's also a way to calm down your nervous system, this visualization. So it's a very tangible way to get yourself grounded again in your body and feeling safe in your body. And so it really helps with your nervous system. So as I was going through some stressors, as you can imagine, in this last stretch of time, I woke up one night in the middle of the night and remembered this, like, why have I not been doing this? And I did this visualization again on myself and instantly felt my whole constitution just drop into peace. So I like the bubbles. So we're going to do it together. I'm going to invite you to do it with me. I'm going to just do a very brief version of it so that we can do it together and create kind of a collective energy here in preparation for the story I'm going to tell, and also in preparation for our rest of our evening, and give you something to work with for yourselves. Um, so I invite you to close your eyes if you're so inclined. And we're going to start with just taking a deep breath in through our nose. Hold it for a couple seconds, and then breathe out slowly through your pursed lips like you're blowing out a straw. Slowing that way down. Let's do this 3 times. Another deep breath in through the nose. Hold it. Slowly exhale through your straw. And one more time. Deep breath in through the nose. Hold it. And slowly exhale through your straw. Now we're going to start by just imagining surrounding yourself, however that looks like. You don't even have to be where you're at right now. You might want to transplant yourself to your bed or a beach or wherever you want to be, or whatever image comes up. Just surrounding yourself with a big bubble. And just see what size comes up for you. It might be like really close to your skin, like just right around your body. It might be as big as the room. Don't get too controlling of it. Let it sort of reveal itself to you, the size of your bubble and the color of it. And just start to feel what it feels like being inside your bubble that's just tailored specifically for you. And you might want to imagine how you want to create the space inside of it. Mine was always reverts back to the I Dream a Genie inside the bottle or some version of that. But just create your comfort zone inside your bubble. And again, just see what reveals to you, what makes you feel safe, at ease, comfortable, makes your body feel comfortable, whatever it is for you. For some of you, it might be walking on a treadmill in your bubble. For others, it might be laying on a feather bed. I mean, whatever it is that's your unique comfort zone, your little patch of heaven. To the relaxing sounds of a dog grinding on a yak bone. First thing we're going to do is surround the interior of our bubble, the entire interior of this bubble, with mirrors. And however those mirrors look, they might be little tiny mosaic mirrors, like little tiny penny tile size. It might be big, might be one huge mirror, uninterrupted, might be tiles. Whatever reveals itself to you, just surround the inside of your bubble with mirrors that are reflecting back to you. And the next thing we're going to do is program those mirrors. And the program is going to be whatever thoughts that we want reflected back to us, we're going to program into those mirrors. So for me, it's going to be thoughts of I'm safe, I'm protected, I'm calm, I'm loved, I belong here. And whenever thoughts like that arise, they reflect back. So they reflect back and kind of just multiply and penetrate and create the vibe of the interior of this space. So that all we need to do is just have that thought, and boom, it reflects right back onto us effortlessly. And, it's one of those things that you don't want to work too much at figuring out. Just whatever thought comes to you that you want to amplify for yourself, you program into that mirror on the interior. And now we're going to do the same thing with the exterior. We're going to cover that exterior of that bubble with mirrors again. And notice, however, they might be different than the interior ones. It may be one solid mirror. It might be like a whole bubble mirror. It might be little tiny mirrors. If it's a bunch of little mirrors, they could each have their different little programs in it. And whatever comes to you first, I would just go with. You can change too. And I'm going to request that we all together activate the outside of our bubbles for this space tonight, since I'm kind of launching this channel with this. And this is that if there is anyone out there with even a thought, at the form of a thought, not an action, not a word, but at the level of a thought, if they're having a thought of wanting to cause harm to the space in any way, it bounces right off those mirrors, goes right back, and that thought goes right back to them. So that thought of harm immediately bounces back and hits them. The goal is not to harm that person. The goal is to give them a consequence for their own thought, as sort of a training, so to speak, that maybe they want to choose a different thought than harming what's going on in this space. And we're going to all, when you do this for yourself, you can program the outside of your mirror with anything you want. And actually, you can do that. I'm not trying to be too controlling here. You can do it with whatever you want. But I'm going to do that for this space. We've got our guard dog too. So that if there's anyone in this universe that's having even a thought of wanting to create harm into this space, it bounces right off those mirrors. It does not even get close to these safe spaces, and it goes right back to them. It boomerangs right back to them. So they have a negative feedback loop, so that maybe getting stung by their own thoughts will create an opportunity for them to choose differently. So let's take another deep breath together. Now that we're all activated and programmed, hold it, blow out through your straw. And let's begin. Mr. B, get back to your bubble. So I really think that working with that landlord affected him in some way in his own internal being, because it wasn't like he was playing nice. It wasn't like he was intimidated by my friend or anything like that. He was different. He was like a different person when he showed up for that walkthrough. So it really worked. And that is a really powerful tool for me. And I hope it is for any of you out there. So that you can utilize this however you want or need to utilize it. And it's been really something that's been helpful to me. So thank you for joining me in that. What are you barking at? You know what he barks at? We have our outdoor lantern. You know, what do you call that? The tall lamp that's in front of the house on a timer. And he barks at it when it turns on. Thank you, Alaska, for joining me. Here's your bone. Here's your bone. Here's your bone. Here's your bone. Oh, here's your bone. Bite my hand. So we're going to go into our story time. Everybody ready for a little story tonight? Let's go into a little story time. I'm going to tell you a story that came to me because we've been doing all this spring cleaning and noticing. Hang on a second. He's getting a little feisty with the biting. Hey, let me throw the bone. Here, go get your bone. Go get it. Go get it. Go get it. 1 minute. 1 minute. Talk amongst yourselves. He's in a little bit of the biting mode. Come on, Moo-Boo. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Here. Here. Let's get your toy. Here's your toy. Here's your toy. Uh-oh. Come on. 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 Here. Go get it. Go get it. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Let's get it. Here. Let's get you some toys. I'm coming. He's unpredictable. Go get it. Okay, go get you. Come on. Come on. Come on. I got you. Here's your bone. Here's your bone. And here's your scrunchie. Okay. All right, so back to the story. This story was brought up recently when I know puppies, when I was realizing how trashed our carpet is at this house, and like we probably really need to get different carpet, but like what a freaking chore, to move everything and all that to replace carpet, especially since we've had a puppy who's been peeing and pooping here and there. So it just got me thinking about this story, about things that feel overwhelming and feel like, oh, I just rather avoid this because it's just going to be too much work. That sometimes they are not when we finally bite the bullet and decide to do it. We finally have had enough. So some of you remember that I owned a holistic health center for more than 18 years, but I was in this one location for 18 years. I built it out. It was like my own design. I had a very large waiting area / office that was all open so that I could teach in there, which I did sometimes. And 4 treatment rooms, a bathroom, and a closet. In 18 years, I had a lot of tenants floating through there, a lot of tenants. So a lot of people came and went and left a lot of stuff behind. So this closet, this large closet, just became this dumping ground for stuff, and over 18 years, just accumulating. You know how it is. You got that stuff like, I really don't want to throw that away. Probably somebody might need that. And it just keeps getting piled and piled and piled. And it was full of all these metal shelves that somebody had gifted me, like industrial looking shelves. We also had our fridge in there, our microwave, our linens and all that, but just a bunch of stuff. Well, I finally, after 18 years, decided to move and moved into a small location, which was just me, which I probably should have done about 10 years earlier. But, I stuck it up because it felt so overwhelming, the idea of moving and, dealing with 4 different treatment rooms and tenants and like how to pare that all down and move all my stuff. And it just felt overwhelming to the point where it was like, I just got to do it. This is just too stressful. I mean, I was a landlord dealing with all that, managing the office single-handedly and my practice. And I was the busiest one in there. It wasn't that lucrative to me. I just had this idea of like having a community and all that, but I probably paid more rent than anybody else and did all the work. I mean, it was just, it wasn't the best situation for me. But once I decided to leave, I found this perfect office, waiting room, little tiny alcove for my desk, a bathroom, and my treatment room. How amazing that was to have a small space with my own bathroom. Because as a therapist, as a hands-on body worker, you need to be able to wash your hands. And I treated people in a hospital gown. So if they have to get up off the table and use the restroom, they don't have to get dressed to take a key and go outside in the public restroom. I mean, they can just scoot right in there and scoot out, which happens, while you're working on people. So anyway, it was bliss, just bliss. So, but it was still overwhelming, like just the logistics of moving everything. Yeah, overwhelming. So, but, I just bit the bullet and decided to do it. Well, I had these movers and I just handpicked the stuff that I wanted to move over there to the new place, but it was a lot of downsizing. And so here you go. There you go. And, I moved over. I just pulled out everything that I needed and wanted. And then what am I going to do with all this other stuff? Well, I got this brainwave, as my grandma would say. This is a toddler who is not used to sharing his mom. Here you go. Come here. Okay. And my brainwave was this. I put an ad on Craigslist under the free stuff area. And I said, in the ad, closing up this business, I have office supplies, furnishings, kind of made general idea of all the stuff that I had. Hi, Tanika. And hang on, I'm going to have to, he's just biting me too much, you guys. He's just, I can't focus because I'm getting bit to death. Come on. I'm going to have to pause you. I'm going to have to time you out for a minute. You're biting me too much. You're too hyper. Timeout. All right, sorry about that. He's gonna have to time out for a little bit because he's just biting the shit out of me. Anyway, so where am I? Now I can focus on this story because I want to get this out. So I decided to, just leave everything behind that I didn't want, put it on Craigslist, and I opened it up. It was a hot summer day. I opened it up between like 1 and 4. First come, first serve, take it for free. Everything goes. And I listed some things that were desk, bulletin board, some things that were tangible, but the rest of it was just a bunch of stuff that was not like to throw away, but you know, anyway, just you don't know who's going to want what. And I figured whatever's left over, I'll just toss. So I opened it up and just said, I'm sorry. I had to crate him um, for the rest of this because he was just getting, well, a little too wild. So anyway, he's not been this way all day. I promise you. He's been so chill today. But of course, I'm talking, so he's hearing me. So anyway, I put everything on there and I say, come from 1 to 4 and whatever you want, you can take. So I don't know what's going to happen. And I show up there a little bit early and I park my car and I just bring my phone. I didn't bring my purse, my phone and my keys into the office. There are people already waiting outside. So I open the doors and immediately they start coming in. And I just said, it's first come, first serve. Whatever you want, you can take. And then this man shows up and he's got like a cart in his truck and he just sort of took control of everything. And he approached me in this very soft-spoken voice and says, how about those shelves in that closet? I said, well, they're mine. They were all attached to the walls and everything. And I was like, I'm not going to take those. I'm not just going to leave them here. But he's like, I'll take them. I said, hey, if you got the tools and you want to take, you can have them. So him deciding to do that, he suddenly became the person in charge of the closet. So suddenly he is, organizing everything and he just commanded this presence. And so I'm just sitting back, like hanging on for dear life to my phone and my keys while people are like kind of following his lead and they're making piles. And I mean, people came on bikes. There were homeless people that came. It was just a very interesting group of people that came, but within an hour and a half, it was like the Grinch that came and just everything was gone except for a crumb. I mean, everything was gone. And in the middle of this, I had this jade massage table that was this infrared massage table with these jade ball. This thing was, because I got so tired of dealing with people and renting my rooms out to people. This is part of the reason, like, I just finally left because it's like, oh my God, people and they're breaking leases and just all this crap. So I'm just like, I don't want to, in one of these treatment rooms, I don't want to deal with humans. I'm going to put this jade massage table in there and turn that into a service. And nobody bit at this service. So I was stuck with this monstrosity of a thing that I spent a lot of money on and like just never took off. So I didn't know what to do with that because I couldn't move that into my new place and I didn't want to bring it home. I just didn't know. So I wanted to donate it. So I also placed an ad of this is for donation only for this thing because it was expensive. And somebody who needed it and could use it, like in their center or whatever. But I wasn't getting any bites on that. I had also put that ad on Craigslist and I was very specific that this was just for like a donation to a center or something like that. So I'm in the middle of this frenzy of these people taking stuff. I mean, it was just going so fast, but they were so polite. They were like respecting the flow. And except for these 2 very well-dressed women who I go into the bathroom and they're trying to unscrew the freaking mirror over the sink. Like, no, that does not, like, what are you going to do? Take a toilet next? Like, that was a bit much. And it was like a cheap, just basic mirror. But anyway, I was like, no, ladies, that stays. But that was the only thing that was like a little strange, but this one man came up to me. He was Hispan I speak Spanish. This Hispanic man, and he had these old manuals of mine from myofascial release from like eons ago. He couldn't read them. He because they were in English, obviously. So in Spanish, I could tell, he's struggling with English. And then just started speaking Spanish with me. He goes, "Oh, hablas español." And so now we're talking Spanish. And he asked me with this very quiet voice if he could take these manuals. Like, you can take anything. So you could have anything. People were just very, very polite. And at the very end, this woman comes up to me. I'm not kidding you. It was a dead plant in a pot. And she said, "Do you think I could revive this plant?" I mean, it was just so quintessential of the whole thing, that like this, I was reviving this business and yeah, the light bulbs. So it was just gone. I'm just standing there in this space like, oh my God, I cannot believe that happened so seamlessly, so quickly. I didn't have to lift a freaking finger. I had the other movers just pull out the stuff that I needed in the new place. And this stuff just evaporated so that all I had to do was have it cleaned. That was it. I'm just standing there like, I can't believe this happened all for me. And it was such a win-win because people got stuff for free and I got rid of they took it all away from me. So I didn't have to get a truck and take it somewhere and donate it or even haul it to the dumpster. I mean, they're just taking everything. And so I just remember just standing there like, wow. And it was over very quickly. Right toward the end, this young woman walks in and she's like, "Oh, no, 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 scratch that. Pause, rewind." In the middle of the frenzy of these people taking everything, this man walks in, this very distinguished looking man in a suit walks in holding a piece of paper. And he goes, "Someone just called me and said you have some sort of massage table for donation." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he had somehow been alerted to that. That day was the day he came in because I happened to be there, but that had been in there for a while, like a week or so ad had been in there, but that's the day he came in. And he said, "We have an organization, a center that gives free healthcare to children with cancer, alternative healthcare, and I think we could use that in our center." This center was across the street from a frickin' house in Tempe. And what the paper in his hand was a donation thing so that I could write that off as a donation to their organization because it was a nonprofit. He dismantled that thing. Of course, people were using it as like a piece of paper, like a table to stack their stuff on. So we had to move everything off of it. He had the tools and everything, dismantled this heavy, huge frickin' table and moves it to the truck, and that thing was gone too. So anyway, it was amazing. So I'm standing there, everything's gone. This young woman walks in and she's just like, "I can't believe I missed it. I missed it, didn't I?" She goes, "I tried to get down here as fast as I could." And I said, it just everything went so fast. And so she's just chatting with me and like, telling me her story that she was living in this trailer park and she had a couple kids and, it's down on her luck story. And one of her kids' birthdays was coming up and whatever, she's just sort of venting. And all of a sudden, as she's talking, light bulb goes over my head. I had years ago traded with this artist who had a shoulder injury. Couldn't pay for therapy with me, but she bartered with me to create the most gorgeous ceiling on my treatment room of a sky with hand-painted clouds. So what she did was she bought this blue fabric, installed the fabric with all these thumbtacks, and then came and painted this incredibly gorgeous pink, peach, golden, white clouds. Beautiful sky. So whenever you laid down on my massage table, you looked up and that's what you looked at. She even painted the grill for the vent cover thing, the exact same color as the blue in the fabric. So it just was seamless. She even painted the thumbtacks. I mean, everything was just seamless. So when you laid on my massage table, you saw this hand-painted gorgeous sky. That was still up there. Nobody thought to take that. And like, I thought probably the next tenants probably don't care about, but it's custom made to that ceiling. So all of a sudden I'm like, "Oh my god, I do have one thing." And I took this girl back to my treatment room and I said, "Can you do anything with that fabric?" She bursts into tears and says, "My kids don't have curtains on their bedroom. I can make curtains out of that, and that can be my daughter's birthday present, are these curtains." So now I'm in the position of I can't even get up there to get it off because everything's gone. I don't even have a chair. I don't have anything to stand on to pull that down. So I said, "Can you meet me back here like in a couple hours? And I'll go home. I'll get my step ladder. We'll come back here and we'll," because I didn't, it had to be kind of carefully taken down so it wouldn't rip and everything like that. So she left and she came back. Well, in the meantime, when I went home, I went in my very messy craft room and grabbed a whole bunch of other stuff for her that was like craft supplies and art supplies and stuff like that that I just, accumulated at home. So went by the time and I was making a lot of bath bombs at the time. I had a little bath bomb business at the time. So I had put some of my bath bombs in a little gift bag. So when I went back, I said, "Here's your daughter's birthday present right here." And it was all wrapped and everything. And gave her that box of other stuff from my house. And together we took down that fabric and she was the last person and she got the very last thing, but she got like the best thing out of my office and said she was going to go home and make curtains out of that for her daughter. I ended up telling my friend Linda that story. Linda was a recently retired teacher and had a garage full of school supplies, art supplies and stuff like that from teaching. So this girl and we had exchanged numbers about getting back there and meeting back there in a couple of hours in case something came up. Let's exchange numbers so we can be in contact. And she did come back and meet me and everything. And so I had her number, passed it on to Linda. Linda then called her and brought her a whole like carload full of stuff for her kids. So isn't that just such a cool story of how something that seemed so incredibly hard and demanding and overwhelming and like I don't even know where to start and ended up being one of the most magical things, the whole process of getting rid of everything, and that everything went to somebody who wanted it or needed it, out of there. And it was just, to me, junk really at that point, like stuff I was just done with and over with. So that's really the story I want to tell tonight. And yeah, it was all meant to be. And then it allowed me to make that transition, which wasn't that easy because 18 years, that was and I was struggling with feeling like, oh, I just was so exhausted by the end of that 18 years. That I had a lot of mixed emotions about leaving. Like, did I fail and all that? And, some things I did fail at and that failure was good because it pushed me out. But, it just helped me leave on such a wonderful note of just magic, magic unfolded there at the very end. So that's my story. And that's what I was thinking of. Thank you for appreciating my story. Yeah, everything went to, and that it was just icing on the cake with that young woman when she came in, because then she ended up getting all this stuff, from me, from Linda, but it started with her just taking the risk to show up, and saying, it was just, is there absolutely anything? And the fact that I had to go home to get my stepladder and realized I have way more shit than I need in my house. And this is a person who needs, and I have way too much stuff than what I need. So, I guess that was kind of in keeping with the theme of our spring cleaning. We've been just getting rid of stuff. And yeah, beauty in the ashes. That's a good way to put it, Tanika. So yeah. Hi, Jude. So that is my story. I just was thinking about that over the last week and how it's so fueling for me because I do get overwhelmed with, and I don't start things because it just feels like, oh, it's just gonna like be so much work to do all that. And, I was living alone. I was by myself, and it just to even get started feels so overwhelming. And it's good for me to remember that, because sometimes just all you have to do is just make that start, make that decision, do the smallest thing to start, and then things start supporting you. Things start coming in, you start getting ideas, and it's like everything supported me in making that the easiest freaking thing. I mean, usually when you move, you got a bunch of stuff, but you got to deal with it. Your landlord's not going to move all your stuff out for you and everything. And I mean, I got to leave that thing slick as a whistle. So it is hard to start. So, we're getting ready to do a huge remodel at our other house, and we got to take everything off the walls and all that. We're having the entire interior painted, and of course thinking about that too. And it's such a great time to think about, what do we really want and what do we really need and what can we get rid of, and finding place to donate stuff. And we're getting ready to do all that up at the other house. So we're kind of like, but it's a lot easier for me to have a partner, because my husband is super organized with that and super motivated. He has a lot of energy, and it's fun to do it together, to do that project together. But when you're by yourself, it's a lot to, like, get the energy and get the motivation and get the organization and everything. And that incident, 18 years is a long time in the same space. And it wasn't just me there. It was just all these other people and all their stuff that was left behind. But, once I kicked that ball, it just started rolling and rolling and rolling. It was the easiest freaking thing. I mean, I thought it was going to be this whole involved thing. I mean, it was over in a matter of like 2 hours, So I'm going to look at some comments now. Crash. It's so hard to start. You look in a closet and then shut the door because it's too much. It is. I mean, I'm definitely have that issue. Cleaning your physical space cleans the mental space. It really does. It absolutely does. And cluttering the physical space clutters the mental space too. So, and sometimes it's hard to realize that until you start cleaning it out, and then you realize the, clear air you're now breathing. So, any other thoughts or sharing on that? Thank you, Jane Elliott, for appreciating my stories. We don't have any ice in the thing, so I don't know if you can see it. I have this like great big ice sphere in there. I bought myself these cool Succession glasses. They're always drinking out of a glass that looks like this. I bought myself that to drink my ginger ale out of, with my fancy ice ball in there. If anybody missed that, the Succession crew is in Broadway right now. Kieran Culkin and Sarah Snook. My husband, he's in love with Sarah Snook. He's like he has his hall pass for Sarah Snook, So this morning when I saw that, I got that email. And like I said, he's up at the other house, and he's like, "Are you okay?" I said, "I have to talk to you right now." He's like, "Are you okay? What happened?" And I said, "Are you ready? Sit down. Sarah Snook's on Broadway. I'm getting us a ticket right now." He's just like, "What?" He's "Oh, how are my bulbs coming along?" Oh my God, postpartum. Hundreds of them. Hundreds. Because I don't know if you remember, last fall, we did this assembly line thing. Sorry, this thing's falling off. Where John went along with the drill and that corkscrew thing, and he just went, and then Lily and I followed along behind, dropping the bulbs in. We just kind of made it a family little fun activity. And so we dropped in another like 300 tulips here. And I'm going to be here at this house. So what's going to happen is he's going to live up at the other house during the remodel, because he's a control freak and he wants to be there to kind of observe and make sure everything's going smoothly. And I don't want to live in a house that's under construction. So I'm going to be down here with Beasley. But the cool thing about that is I'm going to be down here through the spring and be able to completely enjoy my flowers. And oh, Tanika, thanks. Likewise. Well, yeah, Donna's ear canals. We're seeing him. We're seeing Culkin. We're seeing him. So we're going into New York City. We're seeing Culkin and Glen Ross. Then we're going to dinner in our favorite French seafood restaurant. And then the next morning we'll get up and go see Sarah Snook and Portrait of Dorian Gray. She is an Aussie. It's so funny, Top Cat, that so many of the Succession actors are British or Aussie. So you hear them interviewed on other things, and they're like totally different voices. And many of them are because I think the creators are British, I think. And so um, they know where the talent is in the UK and Australia. The Australians, man, their actors have amazing training. Yeah, she is amazing, Sarah Snook. So, I don't know what kind of accent she'll be talking in that, might be her regular accent, I don't know. But sh I don't know if you caught, she plays every single role in that play. Dorian Gray, she's playing she's playing, like, 17 roles or something. I just read about it today, like, doing all these wig changes and all this. I mean, it's gonna be amazing. How do you stop the squirrels from eating your bulbs? I don't know how to say your name, Betsy. I'll just say Betsy. Um I don't have a lot of squirrels at this house where I'm at, and at the other house, I only plant bulbs that they're not interested in. So, because 'cause we're kind of in the woods up there, so forget it. I mean, the deer, squirrels, whatever, they're gonna dig everything up. But they don't like daffodils, they don't like hyacinths, so that's primarily and they won't eat dahlias. So that's what I plant up there, but, I have some tulips in pots. So, hopefully they'll leave those alone. But here we don't really have many squirrels. It's more of a residential area, so they leave them alone. Mr. Beasley's been trying to dig up my bulbs though. Oh, thank you, Jane Elliott. That's a very nice comment. Yep, moving forward. Gotta always keep evolving, right? Yeah, I'm excited. So I'm really excited about the spring because last spring I missed all my bulbs because I was up north and, I just wanted to be up there, but I missed, it's like splitting the gardens. But last fall I was like in Tallahassee and on the road and all this. So I didn't plant a lot of bulbs up there. So I'm not going to really miss anything while this remodel's going on. That's going to take like 3 months. The deer ate your lavender plants. Huh. I thought that was one that was, one they weren't attracted to because of that scent, although some people say that they'll eat anything. Now, where we live in the woods, they have plenty of food, so they don't need that, but, I mean, some people say they'll just eat anything. Think Cat Coco. I mean, the things that I am into, it's good to have obsessions. It's good to have healthy obsessions, I think, and I don't know, gardening is a easy one to I never really gardened, I lived in the desert for, decades, and so I never really had the opportunity to garden very much, and then when it bit me here, it's like, it's very easy to get obsessed with gardening. You always read that, you hear about that, but, once you start doing it, you get it. Hi, Chelsea Shaw. It's good to see you guys too. I think I'll open up comments now. I just wasn't strong enough. I just be honest, I just wasn't strong enough to handle it until now. I just wasn't. I was healing, and, I was taking a beating everywhere in every social media, avenue. I had to lock it all down. It was just too much for me to, constantly be fighting that off. So I just thought, I'm just gonna keep it safe for me and until I feel strong again, and I feel strong enough to handle it now. So the deer chew down even my small pine trees in the winter. Wow. It's, lightning out there now. We had tornado warnings here this afternoon. So we had a big storm that came through. Thank you for being there for me, Betsy. Ooh, do you hear the thunder? Hi, Shaky Lou. Oh, it's nice to be missed. Thank you. Oh, missed me at Christmas. Yeah. Yeah, it's just been deer don't eat zinnias or peonies. Yeah, they leave my peonies alone. They have eaten my roses, what did they eat last year? They ate something else. They ate the buds right off my lilies. Oh my God, I hated that because, the lily's coming up, the stalk is coming up. You're seeing the bud, I mean, the whole thing is the bud that's going to flower. And then the next day you go out and the bud's totally gone. So they did eat that. Oh, they love hydrangeas. They leave my hydrangeas alone at my other place. I have 4 or 5 hydrangea bushes there, and they have not found those. So, are you still remodeling your bathroom? Yes, that's the big remodel that's happening. Our main bathroom, because I mean, it's the bathroom that was built when this house was built like 30 years ago. So, I mean, it's really in a need of remodeling. So we've had so much fun. Maybe I'll put pictures. I love that. I mean, I'll look at a lot of that online before and after and process of remodeling. I love that. So if anybody's into that, maybe I'll start a little section of showing that before and after. We've been picking out the flooring and the tile for the shower and a new bathtub and paint. That has been a huge project, paint colors and faucets and lighting, and it's been really, really fun. My husband and I have been doing it together. So yes, we are doing that. You love watching remodels. I do too. And we have a really good contractor that did our kitchen. So now our kitchen and our baths will be remodeled, but we're going to do the whole house. We're going to paint the whole house. And John convinced me to let's just do it all at once. So we're not doing one and then having to gear up to do the next. And he's like, I will live there. He likes to do a lot of projects at the house himself, like staining the whole deck outside. So he'll be working there too. And living in a whole separate area of the house and like have a little narrow access to the kitchen and, we're sort of bringing it. But it's not a place for Mr. Beasley to be, obviously, during all that chaos going on. It's not a place for me to be either. I mean, I'll go up on weekends. I'm going to want to see it as it evolves and stuff like that, but living in that environment, I mean, it's just going to be completely torn up, they said about 3 months. So, oh, you build a custom bathrooms and kitchens. Oh, that's cool, Kevin. I always think of you as a musician. Oh, well, you can weigh in on our bathroom remodel. It's been really, really fun. I hope you find your job fun. That's what our contractor does. And luckily we have a really, really good contractor that he's just really easy to deal with, except for you guys. I don't know if I've told you this before. I probably have. Men from Pennsylvania. I have never in my life been around men who talk as much as Pennsylvania men. If any of you ladies are single and you want to meet a man who's a talker, move to Pennsylvania. I have never seen anything like this in my life. Someone comes to your house to do some work, and they might start working about 45 minutes after they get there, because in that 45 minutes, you're going to hear their entire life story. It doesn't matter. And yeah, you got to kind of, like with our contractor, you got to kind of keep him refocused into the task, because like a meeting that should be like a half an hour just discussing your like tile layout turns into 2 hours later because you're hearing about his kids and their health issues and whatever's going on. And I like the guy and everything like that. It's not that, it's just the amount of talking is just, I don't know. I don't know if any of you guys have run into that, but I have never, ever seen that anywhere. Usually guys come to your house and they're like down to business and like, what do you need done? And they're doing it. But I have guys pulling out their phones, going to their truck and getting their thing they want to show me of their train set they built. I mean, just whatever, just like the amount of talking of Pennsylvania men. It's not women, it's the men. Anyway, let me see what you guys are saying. Just entertaining myself with that. Your flower bouquets are absolutely beautiful. You've inspired me to get out of my vintage vases and enjoy their beauty. That's fantastic, Jane. Yeah, and you can make little vignettes with different vases. I follow so much flower content on Instagram that I get inspired by all that stuff. And I got a bunch of flowers. Trader Joe's, man. I just went to Trader Joe's with my friend this week, and I don't know if you can see, well, right there. See that? Let's see. That. It's a huge pitcher filled with lilies. This whole room smells like lilies and eucalyptus, but I don't know. I'm going to have to take all these flowers out and put them in a bucket to take up with me tomorrow, because I have flowers all over. I put them in the bathroom, everything. I should have taken the pup for a nice walk before your session. Yeah, he probably needs a walk. It's been raining here, Joe, all day, so we haven't been out too much, and we were in a tornado watch, so I didn't really wanna go outside. But yeah, he probably does need a walk. Yeah. We were playing a lot though beforehand. It's just unpredictable. His energy kinda goes up and down. So, yeah, but that probably would have been a good idea. Live and learn. Cat Coke is because you engage. I am engaged listener, and I'm interested in people, and I do ask questions about them, but this is at a different level. This is like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like workers that come to your house and like, "Oh, how's it going? Oh, my kid was sick this morning," and then next thing you know, it's a half hour later, and you've heard it's like, and my husband says, "Yeah, it's Central Pennsylvania men." I don't know. It's a bit, crazy sometimes. Yeah, the Trader Joe's flowers are always amazing. They have garden roses here and there. The garden roses, though, they don't have fragrance. They're even knocking them out of the garden roses. So, anyway, I've been in the midst of watching the show Adolescence and trying to watch trying to watch it with having it's the adolescent puppy. Um, you know, back and forth. But, I'm gonna finish watching that tonight. Hi, MK. Well, I'm glad you found me too. You might wanna there's the story here, there's a couple stories here and a little visualization. I hope you guys take that visualization, man. That is so helpful, that visualization. And I just think it works, I think it really does work. If nothing else, um, it just really settles your nervous system. It makes you feel safe and protected, and you're being protected essentially by yourself, with that the way that you do that, and in your little contained space. Um, Postpartum, you binge Love Is Blind season. I watched Love Is Blind too. That was yeah, that was a bit of a train wreck, wasn't it? Thank you, Brenda, for sending me good energy. I appreciate it. You talked about why you shared personal information. I don't know what that is. Thank you for deleting that. Don't know what that was. Anyway, we're not getting trolled too bad this morning, this evening. So anything else anybody wants to say? Gladys Kravitz, man, you used to be decent, because I thought your name was so funny. Hi, RK. Please try to wear life like a loose garment. That's a good way to put it. Hope Mr. Beasley finds appropriate places to dig. He does love digging. And I'm going to have to figure that out, maybe at the dog park, because he's been digging in my flower garden, and I can't have that. So maybe when I get him up to the other house, it is the woods, so he can dig in that. I mean, people said don't get your puppy until spring, and because you're going to have to go through the winter. And we just got him, in November, and boom, we were right into winter. So most of his experience of being outdoors is like navigating through the snow and ice to do his business out there. And John's taken him on some walks out there. I mean, I'm not enjoy being outside in the winter weather like that. So I mean, I took him very briefly on some walks, but John has taken out on some longer walks up there. But now that it's spring, he's getting out there and just sticking his nose in everything. He's like a whole different world for him. And especially the dog park, man, he loved that. So now we've been to 2. We'll probably go to a 3rd tomorrow. So what age does the puppy phase end? I don't know. I mean, about a year maybe, I guess. And we're not getting him fixed right away. We were going to, and then we changed our mind. And so Yeah, he did love the snow. He jumped around in the snow. He just loves being outside. So I've been taking him outside with me a lot on the back patio. We don't have it all set up with our furniture yet or anything, but I've been taking him out there with me and setting him out there and kind of tethering him to the pergola so he can hang out outside. He loves it. You have a toy poodle. You don't care for walks. I'm so bad at it. Well, just me, I liked it at the dog park. I really liked being there and walking him at the dog park. Our neighborhood's a little bit boring to walk in, but that my husband takes him on this rail trail, and I'm going to explore more things. Tanika, recently refound you and caught up. So glad you're back. Sugar Bear is being promoted to Big Brother in November. Are you having another baby, Tanika? Oh my gosh. Sweet Pea is loading. Congratulations. Oh my gosh. Tanika, I'm assuming that's what you mean, that you're bringing another beautiful baby into your family. That's amazing. Congratulations. I got to catch up on. I did look at your Instagram recently, and I wasn't seeing quite enough Sugar Bear content, but it has been a little while since. Oh my God, you're 7 weeks. Wow, that's so exciting. Congratulations. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be following that closely on your Instagram. That's very exciting. Sugar Bear's probably, well, he's going to be a good big brother, isn't he? Thank you, Martha. Yeah, Tanika has a good channel too. Oh, yeah, beautiful waterfall. We're just not, there's a video I have on here that I I said my piece on that. I haven't said anything about it for months, and that's all I'm going to say about it. We're moving forward. So, but if you want to email me, you can. I'm not, I'm keeping this channel clean of that. I think we're all kind of had enough of that. I know I have. Oh, I can see. So what else is on your mind? Well, we have that to celebrate. Tanika's bringing a new one into the world. My battery is going almost down to nothing, so I might be signing off here. But this was a good little getting reacquainted again. And I think, like I said, I think I'll open up comments again, and we'll keep this community safe and unburdened by those things, and not going to make a fanfare out of it. It's just going to be quietly handled, and we will keep it cool going forward. But yeah, positive vibes. We're not going to give that stuff any energy, and don't really need to process it. That's one thing that I learned, and I don't know if you guys picked this up. I said this on some other thing. One of the things that I learned through this course, it's been a crash course in quite a few things. But one of the things that I learned is that sometimes venting about things is not the best solution. It just sort of keeps it alive in your mind. And if it's something that you're trying to pivot away from, that, like, for example, if it's somebody else's issues that you're trying to not absorb and not make your own and not engage with, if you're venting about it to somebody else, if I'm venting about it to somebody else, I'm now living in it. So, but what was helpful to me is just to connect with other people, even if I just had to sort of force myself to turn that channel off in my brain, and connect with them on completely other topics as if that wasn't even happening. And then it started carrying me into a space of it wasn't even happening. Like, it's not even happening. And call that denial, call that whatever. For me, I call that healing. I call that shifting and evolving out of somebody else's mess. And so, like, for example, I went to this amazing, amazing spa with my cousin who I hadn't seen in like 3 years. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys one other story while we're here. I'm gonna because he's settled down now and I can tell you this other story because I'm gonna leave you on this story. Um, I'm gonna try to tell it without crying now. Okay, so it's been a rough few months. You guys know a fraction of what I've dealt with, and I'm not gonna get into it, but it's been rough. And one of these times, I realized that I'd forgotten that I could reach out to my sister to help me because my sister has intervened in my life from the other side more than once. And I'm like, why am I not asking her? And I have heard from people that know more about these things and guardian angels and things like that. And I can't say that I'm any kind of an expert at it or anything whatsoever, but I have heard from people that they are waiting in the wings, but we have to ask them that they're not just going to come in and handle things. We have to open the door and ask for their help. And whether you believe that or whatever, but I remember being taught that. And so like, oh, I got to ask her. And so I think in doing that, she brought me my husband. That's another story because I asked her for help with that. And within like a year, I met my husband. But so one night I was like, Cindy, I need you to help me with this. I need you to intervene. I'm feeling alone and helpless. And I don't know what to do. And I need your help. And just in the asking, I started feeling better. Okay. So the next day, we had talked about my husband and I were up at the other house. And before we had gone up there, that at some point, this happens all the time out there, the power had turned off. So by the time we got up there, we were aware that the power had turned off and turned back on because, you know, your clocks are blinking or whatever. And one of the things that happens with that is that we have these ceiling fans that are on a wall switch that turn off. So if and he likes to leave the ceiling fans on just because they circulate the air in the winter or whatever. And so the night before he had said, we need to remember to turn the ceiling fans, back on in the morning because they were off, these two really, really tall ceiling fans. And they only turn on by this wall switch and then you can adjust it on that or whatever. So he left that day. I was there by myself and I was just sitting on the sofa and I heard this weird chimey kind of sound. And yeah, my battery's going down. So after this, I'll get going. So I just dismissed it. For some reason, whenever he leaves, weird alarms start going off in that house and stuff. I'm going to carry this because I need to plug it in. So, and then we'll sign off. You know what? I'm just going to go actually get the plug. So anyway, this weird like, ding, ding, and I'm like, oh God, what's that? Because this house is so over-engineered. There's all these alarms and whatever, you know, that go off and smoke alarm, whatever. And I'm like, oh God, what's this? But I only heard it the one time. And then I was sitting at the kitchen, like bar area, having my breakfast or whatever. And something caught my eye out of the periphery of my eye. And I looked up. That ceiling fan was moving. That ceiling fan literally can only be turned on by the button on the wall. There's no remote. There's no nothing. It was off the night before. And I had forgotten, it had been so long that it makes that little chimey sound when it turns on, that little, you know, whatever, a little chime. And it's a white ceiling fan. And I caught it out of the periphery of my eyes and it looked like angel wings because it was white and it was moving. And I knew it was my sister. It was the morning after I had done that. I'd asked her to help me. And I thought, would she come in on a chime? wouldn't she come in on a chime? That's so angelic, right? A chime, freaking chime, like a little bell. And I knew I was gonna be all right because I knew she had my back, that she'd come to help me. Well, then, a couple days later, my cousin Katie, her name's Katie, out of nowhere, she, contacted me and she said, "I'm gonna come and visit you." She has 2 girls that are off at Exeter, and she's like, "The girls are, off at school," and, like, I've known her literally her whole life because I'm, like, 8 years older than her, and I remember when she was a baby and all that, and, she's like, "I wanna come visit you, I wanna see the dog," and, I looked it up, I looked up the map, and, I just wanna drive there, I wanna come, hang out with you in front of your fireplace and eat good food, and let's binge watch some stuff, and, I'm just gonna come and visit you. I mean, she's just, like, so assertive. She knew nothing of what I was going through. She knew nothing of how much I needed her. And, I was so cocooned and so shut down. It was like I wasn't even knowing who to reach out to or anything. And she just said, "I'm gonna come and visit you," just out of the clear blue. And it was like the next day after this thing happened with the ceiling fan. And so I said, "Well, it's not gonna," and she wanted to come like that weekend. I mean, this is so not her. She's not like that impulsive. And I just said, "I gotta go." I had to do something that else that weekend. But I said, "And then I'm gonna go do that," whatever that was, at this house. I think I was doing something with my friend down here, maybe a wedding or something. But, um, I said, "On the way back, I'm stopping at this spa for, 2 nights just to, like, do some personal self-care, and I wanted to go check it out, and my husband couldn't come with me because of the puppy and stuff, and I said, "I'm just going by myself," but I really didn't wanna go by myself. I oftentimes go to things like that because I wanna go by myself, but I really didn't want to, and I was feeling really kind of, like eating dinner alone and stuff like that, like I was feeling kind of lonely about doing it, and that's really not me, but I was feeling that way, and I'm saying to my husband, "Man, I wish there was a way that we could go together," but, it's just not practical with the puppy. We didn't wanna leave him with anybody overnight or anything. And so I said, "You could come meet me at this spa." And she goes, "What's the name of it?" We're on the phone. She made her reservation then and there before we got off the phone and came and met me there. And we had the most amazing, amazing 2 nights at this spa. It was so nourishing. I said to her when we got there, because I was in the thick of what I've just moved out of, and I just said, "I'm gonna tell you just if I'm a little bit off, I'm going through something, and I just wanna give you a heads up of what it is, and then I don't wanna talk about it at all the rest of the time there." And so, like, our first meal together, I gave her, like, the Reader's Digest version, and that was it. We never spoke about it the whole rest of the time, and we just, talked about health and healing and cooking, and we watched a movie together and, reminisced about our past as kids. And, I lost my sister. She tragically lost her brother, my cousin, and so we've been through some stuff, in our family, and just it was so nourishing. And so I wanna leave you on that, is that, venting is not always the best. Sometimes it's good to, like, for me to learn to not do that because, I'm a blabbermouth, and I just think, I gotta get it off. It's not a helpful thing always. With the helpful things, sometimes not vent, but be with people that know you. Being with my cousin who really knows me and really knows me deep, deep, deep into my core and has been through, like, everything in life through me and with me, and has been through hard stuff with me and been through hard stuff herself, and, just could connect with me in that way. When people that don't know you are trying to define you, um, it's good to be around people who do know you and that you don't have to explain yourself to, and that reflect back to you the best of who you are. It's a very, very nourishing place to be in. So, water under the bridge has already moved on. Yeah. So anyway, my battery's going out. I'm leaving you guys on that note. Tanika, my book writing is like a little bit on hold because I got a freaking puppy and I just haven't had the time to sit down, but I'm going to finish it this year. I have a plan, and I will be working on it during that when all that remodeling is going on up there, and I'll be kind of at this place by myself and have some alone time to focus. So I'm going to be working on it during that time. I'm so close to being done. I just need to be done with it. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Appreciate the love and the support here and elsewhere. And stay tuned. And thanks for joining me in the chat. And I will see you guys next time. I got to go let this puppy out and see what we're going to be up to next. All right. Have a great evening, everybody. And I will see you again soon. Bye for now.